everyone, and welcome back to the RMTV Women's Podcast. This is episode 102. We've got quite a few topics to get through today. We were just saying, off camera, that there wasn't that many subjects to sort of go through today, obviously, because there's been no matches and stuff this weekend. There's been a few international games, but not much to shout about. We do have a few interesting topics to discuss. The first one that we want to chat about is Alex Scott has been rumoured to replace Sue Smith as BBC presenter. I think, personally for me, I think that would be really good for her. There's obviously been a bit of backlash when it was first rumoured and it first all came out and stuff like that, but I don't see how her taking over that role really affects anyone. I think it'd be a really good appointment for her, for the show, and just for more female presenters up and coming throughout the sporting world and whatnot.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's really strange, this one, because I kind of don't really get where people are coming from in terms of the backlash. I think Alex Scott has been on the TV for quite a while now in terms of the punditry side of things, so you would have thought people had sort of learned from that, the fact that she actually knows what she's talking about. They've not just thrown anyone on there, they've specifically chosen her as someone who, one, isn't just a really successful footballer, but also is trained in that era. I think she has a degree in sports journalism and broadcasting, so she's actually got a sense of background and depth to her knowledge. So it's really strange, and equally, it's not like she's replacing a male presenter. She's replacing a female presenter. So it's not. I can't see where people are coming from, and it was absolutely bizarre to me that she received so much abuse and threats on social media. I think the times are changing and people need to either get on board or don't say anything at all at this point. And that's harsh, but I think that's the reality of the situation that we're in at the moment.
It really is. And I think even if she was replacing a male presenter, again, I don't see why that would be a problem either, because you summed it up perfectly there, that times are changing, things change. Look at the whole, I think Sky have gone through a bit of a rebrand this ahead of the new season. Obviously, got rid of some presenters who have been on the show for quite a while, and they received a lot of backlash for that. I think a lot of people just don't like change.
Yeah, it's a new era, isn't it? Yeah. I feel it's that sort of vibe to it.
Yeah, and Alex Scott has been part of Sky Sports for quite a while now.
Yeah.
And she does a good job. She doesn't. Obviously, not everyone's going to agree with what she says. Sometimes she says things that I don't agree with, but that's just based on personal opinion. I'd never send her a death threat about it. Do you know what I mean? It's just.
Oh yeah.
It's just I genuinely just think it's people that don't like change, and it is you'll obviously get your few people who are very much like, oh well, she shouldn't do that, she shouldn't do this because of certain reasons. Just get over it. Listen, you're not going to do it. What's the issue with her doing it? She's more than qualified for the role. So yeah, there's no issues. But it's nice to see other Sky Sports presenters and other people involved in the industry showing their support for it. Obviously, Michael Richards stood up for her after some of the backlash that she received on Twitter. A few quotes that he said was, she's absolutely incredible. The abuse is even worse for her because she's a woman and she's seen as black as well, which is double jeopardy. She's honestly one of the best pundits I've ever worked with. Or you can see on Twitter and Instagram, what is a woman doing working on men's football? She doesn't know. She's played how many times for England? She knows football inside out more than most, and to see the abuse she gets just because someone has left their job or not had their contract renewed, it's disheartening to see. I think disheartening is a really good way to pick out from that, because it really is. She's, as we've just said, she's more than qualified for the job. She's played the sport. Football's football at the end of the day. Yeah. It's all the same. It's all the same rules. The game's played the same way. So how can you say she doesn't know anything about football when she obviously does?
Yeah, it's bizarre. I really, really commend Sky for actually bringing enough and a lot of attention to that video in particular, like reposting it, etc. Because I think my like immediate reaction to when I sort of watched it and when I read what he was saying was like, finally someone in a high up position in who the show is going to be broadcasted to millions of people, finally someone is standing up for us as women in football. Because I think we've been waiting around way too long now, and the whether you like women's football or not, the game is growing, and there's absolutely nothing no one can do about that, and it is growing and it is getting more interesting. And it was just so nice to actually have someone fight our corner. For once. I mean, there are others that have done it, don't get me wrong, but to me that was a massive statement, and it was nice as like we're women in football ourselves with what we do here, and in terms of playing as well. So it's nice that the community is being represented, not just by another woman. It's a man standing up for us as well. And I think the way that he says, one of the best pundits I've ever worked with, like highlights her achievements and things like that. It's super nice. But then you look at it on the other hand, like he shouldn't have to do that, because it should just be accepted anyways. But equally, it's a nice feeling for us as women who absolutely adore football to have, as I said, someone sort of backing us and fighting in our corner for us.
Yeah, and I think because it was on like Monday Night Football as well, which is like was basically Sky's biggest event, one of the biggest events that they do. So it's nice that they highlight the important stuff, and like you said before, they obviously haven't just brushed it under the carpet and just sort of left it to sort of fight their own corner. Everyone's clearly backing it, and it'll be interesting to see the developments of it all, and whether what we'll see of Alex Scott this season, because she's a really good pundit, and it's like a breath of fresh air sometimes when you see it on the TV and she's giving her opinions, because Sky do have a tendency just to have the same pundits on. I know they've obviously got the ones who are like under contract and probably have to appear in so many shows, but it's always nice to have different voices and different opinions. So let us know your thoughts in the comments about Alex Scott potentially getting a new role, and what you think of it all. Nice comments only, please. I'm sure everyone watching this it'll
everyone on our channel is very supportive.
They are very supportive. Nice. So I'm sure we'll have some nice feedback on that. One thing that really, really upset me yesterday when I first saw it was the images of Tobin Heath in her United kits.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it's just so sad. It's just so sad.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how are you doing?
Do you know what? I'm not doing well about it. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Are
you suffering?
Yeah, I really am. And do you know what? She's come out and she's been so nice. Like, she's done her first interview.
I know. So nice.
And I'm just like, oh, you're making it worse. You're making it really worse. I'm just. Oh.
Well, she's not gonna go. Man United are terrible. That's why I signed for them.
But like, I just don't like United, so I'm just like, that's not
no. I tell you what, though, I feel like I've been waiting an age to actually see Tobin Heath in the UK, like actually signing. So I think, as much as it pains me to say, like, she's a Man United player, it probably pains you a lot more than me, but it's still in there. I still feel it. What a signing. Like, when you see the fact that she's in the UK and is going to be playing in the WSL for the whole season, the whole season, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah. Like,
it's ridiculous.
Like, I'm thinking right now, well, Manchester's not that far from me. I don't know where she lives, but, she's not that far away from me.
You could walk past her on the street,
Might be a trip to Liverpool one weekend, you know what I mean?
Crosby Beach.
If I look on my Instagram one day and she's in like town or she's somewhere, I'm like, oh.
She's at Crazy Pedro's.
Imagine, yeah. She's playing mini golf.
Oh god!
No,
but it's crazy. Like I still can't really wrap my head around the fact that Roosevelt, Sam Lewis, Christian Press, Tobin Heath, and Alex Morgan are like in the WSL. Like I'm just shook.
I know.
I really am.
Yeah. Well, obviously Tobin Heath had their first interview for Man United yesterday. All of our quarantine's up now. So I'm expecting to see them. Maybe not on the bench maybe not in this game this weekend, but probably next weekend they'll be in and amongst the squad. Because they might only start training with them like today or tomorrow or whatever. But yeah, I think just in terms of the caliber of players that have come in, obviously she's one of the biggest names in women's football. She's been around for what seems like forever.
I know.
Like so much. Yeah, like she said yesterday, I want to wear a badge that has weight and history, and obviously this one has an enormous amount of it. Even putting on the training kit is huge. And I think obviously with them being from the States, and Man United has been such a huge club for so long in world football. That is going to be huge for her, because obviously only like 3 seasons ago they didn't even have a women's team, and then here they are now, like in the top division, like fighting right at the top of the league, like being able to attract these huge players. It shows how far they've come in terms of like in terms of like the women's side. But yeah,
I think Casey Stoney's had a massive impact on that as well, because everyone talks so highly of her. I know we know her a bit from Liverpool days as well, how amazing she was in terms of like a leadership role. But the way she's transformed that United side is absolutely incredible. And obviously a certain amount of it is due to the players that they have, but they have a seriously young squad that's it's quite a small squad as well. So what she's done with that, and I think Tobin talked about it in her interview, that the impact that Casey Stoney had on sort of getting this deal done and the pull to the club. I think it was massive as well. I think in the women's game, it's all as well as the men's game, the manager has so much influence. It's not always just down to the name of the club. It's down to who's in charge. So it's just, I can't bat my head around. But you know, the thing that really almost winds me up, like I think, and I know I shouldn't because it's torturing myself, but what if we hadn't have been relegated last season? Who would we have signed? I can't even go. Who would we have signed?
We don't dwell on the past, Amy. We don't dwell.
I know, but she says, I want a badge that has weight on it and history. Not going to dwell. We can't dwell.
Silence speaks 1,000 words.
Yeah.
I know.
You know what? We're going to be back in the WSL next season. We're going to be back, and we're going to be signing some world-class players. I know, I can see into the future. Call me Raven from That's So Raven. I can see it.
Do you know why it hurts more for me for Tobin Heath as well?
No.
Because it's Portland as well. I'm just like, you joking me? Like, literally, Portland.
You've had a double whammy.
Literally, and I'm just like, why do it to me? If me 2020 wasn't getting any worse, this was just, we were just like, yeah, have this as well, have that one. I was just like, cool, thanks guys, I really appreciate it.
Bang up the bang up the bang.
Just kick me while I'm down. Like, but
you know what? We believe it'll happen eventually. One day, our time will come.
Yeah, 100%. But the only positive I take from it is I'm probably going to get to see her play live at some point this season. So,
and we could potentially interview at some point.
Maybe don't. I won't be able to do it. I won't be able to do it. I'll be like, I
think I'll have to take the reins. On that one. You'd be like pitching yourself on the camera, like, oh my god.
I know, literally. But yeah. Also, like, talking about Alex Morgan a bit there. she's like, she could potentially play on Sunday. Like, she could potentially make her debut for Spurs on Sunday. Like, that was
I really hope
crazy.
she does.
Yeah, like she reportedly got her deal done with Spurs within like 48 hours, because it was so funny. Because obviously she's returned from, obviously had a baby, the whole pandemic, so she didn't get to play up until obviously this point. She was like, yeah, going back to Orlando, going to play for them in the fall series, which is like happening now. So excited to be back. Then like 2 days later, she's like, welcome to Spurs. It's just, wait, what? Like,
Bye.
how did that work? But yeah, it seems to be that literally as soon as the first contact was made, it was like, yeah, I'm going there.
Sound.
Yeah, like that's what she wanted to do. And I think it was like Tobin Heath who described it yesterday in her interview. She was like, she said, I haven't played a proper game since March, and like, no disrespect, of they weren't like trying to shade like the NWSL or anything, because you know they obviously are competitive games, but because they're only doing it in like series, like tournament wise, it's not really like, you know, they want to be playing every day, like train every day, week in, week out, playing matches competitively, competing for things, you know. When it's just like a little mini tournament for like 3 or 4 weeks, it doesn't add the same value as probably a league season. So especially
Yeah.
for Alex Morgan, who wants to be able to go to the Olympics next year, like get herself. I mean, I don't think she was ever really out of the USA squad, but she was always going to come straight back in because she's Alex Morgan. But for her personally, she obviously has goals, so she's probably looked at that and been like, well, that's a better opportunity for me playing wise than staying here. Which, you know, you've got to
Yeah.
take that, like,
Yeah.
the professional footballers, they want to play every weekend.
Oh yeah, for sure. The interesting thing about the Morgan deal is that as you sort of read through like the interview stuff, she says, I don't know how long I'm going to be here for. Like, she actually looked at the prospect of having a future at Spurs, which I thought was crazy. Because I think we all know how much she loves Orlando Pride. Obviously, she probably wants her child to grow up in America. Probably, and obviously she's married, isn't she, or she's
Yeah.
not married? Her partner, let's say,
Cheers,
her
man.
partner. Okay, her husband, fine. Um, her husband obviously still plays in Orlando as well, so you don't know what's going to happen. But like, imagine if this turns out to be like a long-term thing. You never know. Tobin Heath and Chris Best might turn around and go, "Boy, I love the WSL." Yeah.
Yeah.
So you never know.
That's genuinely it. Like, I think Morgan's contract's only until January, I want to say. But
Yeah,
then,
it's 3 months.
because obviously they don't know what's going to happen with the NWSL next season, because, you know, we've still got another 6 months of the pandemic to go through. So, yeah. But it's more than likely that, you know, unless something really drastic happens, our season's obviously going to continue the whole way through. So it might be a case of that, you know, it comes to January, contract's up, and she's really happy here, and the situation in America hasn't gotten any better, and, you know, they don't start their season until April anyway. So she could potentially play the full year with Spurs, like Heath and Press are doing, and like Mewis and Lavelle are doing with City. Play the whole season with Spurs, and then have like a couple of weeks off, and then just rejoin Orlando's season, because their season goes right up to October. Obviously, you'll have like the Olympics in between that as well. So I genuinely think that when it comes to January, I think she'll still be here playing for Spurs. You know, depending on what happens, but. That's just so exciting, that the fact that you could have a whole year of Alex Morgan, Tobin Heath, Kristen Press, Roosevelt, Sam Mewis, like Jess Flishlock's come back over from the States as well, like
Rachel Daly.
yeah, Rachel Daly. Like, there's just so many like players that you're so excited to watch and to see every week, because you've never seen them play with these clubs before, and it's just it's just so
The
exciting.
first time, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, like genuinely.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I'm really looking forward to our Conti Cup fixtures.
Oh, me too.
Yes,
Hopefully
yeah.
we'll be allowed in by then, but it's not even
Fingers
looking like
crossed.
it is it?
Yeah, fingers crossed we can,
Yeah,
but
it is.
who knows at this stage. But yeah,
Who knows?
one other thing that we'll end on, the last topic to discuss, is the Australia women's football shirt down there. Australia
Nice.
released their new kits last week, I think it was, via Zoom. Yeah, a handful of players showcasing the new kit in both home and away. Obviously, everyone was really excited. Obviously, Australia are doing the World Cup in 2023, so like there's been obviously got equal pay towards the end of last year, so there's been a big buzz surrounding like the Australia women's team the last like 12 months. And I think it was someone who asked on Twitter saying like, are these going to be available? Like, when's it available? Are they going to be available in women's sizes and like whatnot? And the Australia women's like Twitter account replied saying that they weren't going to be available in women's sizes until 2022. Like, and I think everyone was just sort of collectively like, what?
Like what? Yeah.
How is that? Like, what do you mean 2022? Like, what? Like, so the bit literally you can only buy it in men's sizes. So I think obviously everyone was a bit upset about that, and rightly so. However, today I think it is, or it might have been yesterday actually. Every day just rolls into one for me. The Nike have released a statement saying that they're trying to rectify the initial decision, which they've said was not consistent with their values, which is, you know,
right.
They've just sort of gone, oh, sugar, we probably shouldn't have done that. Let's just
let's quickly
let's just make a quick U-turn there. But they've said the FFA together with Nike have listened to fans and consumers, and as a result, the away kit will be available for purchase early in the new year. So you can buy the away kit in like January, February. But I'm not sure what the situation is with the home kit. But I think
what the heck has happened there? Like,
yeah,
what the heck has happened?
The thing is, it's to tie it in with Liverpool's new kit this season. I think obviously the stadium jersey is available in a women's size, but the Vapor kit, which is like the really expensive one, like the £90 one, like the £100 one, which is the one that the players wear, isn't available in women's sizes, and everyone was just sort of a bit like, well, not everyone, but like obviously women were just a bit like, well, why not? Do you know what I mean? Like, why is that not available?
It can't be that much of a hassle.
No,
realistically.
Surely
like
not.
I just don't understand. Like, if you actually read it out in your head, Australia's women's team have released a women's kit that the women will be playing in, yet fans cannot buy the women's version.
Yeah.
Like, what? Surely someone high up in the Nike football office must have thought to themselves, maybe we should do a women's kit sizing. Yeah. Like, why has no one thought of this?
What do you mean? Do you know what? They probably haven't. And that's why we're sitting here discussing it, because there's probably generally haven't gone.
But that's bizarre, mate.
2 versions of that, you know.
But like, surely the women's team, the Australian women's team, wear women's kits. So they're going to be making women's kits for the team. So they're going to have a template for women's kits. So why would they not just make them for the fans too? I don't understand the thought process here. What the hell just happened?
The dog's just knocked like the mirror down. Jesus, golly.
Oh, please don't say it's
smashed. I just heard a noise and was like...
Has it smashed?
Oh, God. Intermission.
Go and check. Go and check. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Can we get a replay?
We're all good.
Oh, we're good. Oh, hallelujah.
What is it? God hasn't got 7 years of bad luck. We're all right.
We're keeping that in.
Yeah. And resume. But yeah, no, I genuinely don't think anyone's actually thought about that. And like, to be honest, I don't buy like the women's version of a kit, just because I haven't got the body type for that. I just don't like it. It doesn't fit nice. So I do just buy like a smaller size of like the men's version. But there needs to be, like you've just said, it's a women's kit. Like you're releasing a women's jersey, but you're not actually letting us buy it in a women's size. And it's just all a bit mad. It's just all a bit weird. And obviously everyone's like, well, why do we need, there'll be some people who are like, oh, why do we need like 2 versions of a kit? And yeah, you can see where they're coming from, but genuinely, like, you buy, you know, there's men's sizes in t-shirts and there's women's sizes in t-shirts, so why is it any different for a kit?
I have no words. I have no words. It's frustrating. That's what it is.
It's just more like, it sometimes feels like with women's football, you take 1 step forward, but then you take 10 steps back, because something like this just goes and like sort of shines a bit of a negative light on things, and that's not what
it gives people a reason to go, oh well, we don't need women's kits. And it's like you don't need that.
It's
you
like,
know what we need to do?
Fire.
Yeah, we should be in charge.
We should be in charge.
We'd make sick kits.
We would.
Like, I think we should design our own kit.
I think we should too.
And sell it to Liverpool.
Yeah. We'll make a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah. Coming soon.
We'll get on that. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed this podcast, episode 102. Flying. Absolutely flying.
102.
Mad. Crazy.
Still on Zoom.
Still on Zoom. Probably going to be on Zoom for another 6 months. So
yeah.
Just have to get used to it, boys and girls. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below on any of the subjects we have discussed today. Or if there's anything else you want to chat about, leave us a comment. We'll have a little chinwag with you in the comment section. Subscribe, like the video, and we'll see you all next time with a brand new podcast.
Bye.